my name is Sarah Willoughby. I'm the author of He's Making Diamonds, Teens' Thoughts on Faith Through Chronic Illness, and the host of the Diamonds Conference. And I'm here with Nicole Kaiser, who is an author, writer, awesome person all the way around. And today we're going to talk about writing when you are chronically ill, navigating energy, all of those good things, because writing is hard and chronic illness is hard. And when you put them together, they can seem impossible, but we are living proof that they're not. So, Nicole, this is our second interview with her because we just had so much to talk about that we decided to do two videos. I will link the last one at the end of this video, but right now, my first question for you, Nicole, is how do you find energy to write when chronic illness makes it challenging?
Great question. By the way, thank you for having me on again. Um, so I think there are definitely two parts of having energy to write, and I am still trying to figure this out myself. Um, but it's important to work on having this when you don't have physical energy, but also I've had to learn with Sarah, emotional energy is also so important. So when I don't have energy to write, as in the physical side, often I usually have to take a break sometimes. So in the day before I write, I'll take something to sit down and relax so that my body will have the physical energy. And sometimes that even means I just write in my bed. You don't have to work at a desk to write. Sometimes writing
Exactly.
means getting into a comfy place, get a blanket, a cup of tea or coffee or whatever you drink, and just laying in bed and writing. I've had to do that so many times in my own writing to have the energy to just type on the keys. The other thing would be emotional energy is learning to love your story even when you're not writing it. So Sarah has always encouraged me, make sure you have mental spoons. And so sometimes specifically through the last year, I have really struggled with not having the emotional energy to write a story because it does take a lot out of you when you don't have that emotional energy. So I've had to learn to love my story that even if you cannot physically write and type those keys, to plan your story and to learn why you love writing so that when you do can write again, you're not so stuck at that mental barrier, but you have a reason why you love to write and you have a plan to follow. So I've really had to learn to love my characters and to love my story even when I don't have the energy to write it so I don't just quit on it.
Yes, I love all of those good pieces of advice. I'm amazed at how much you managed to squeeze in. Take notes, people, take notes.
That's what I have to do in life with Sarah. I have to just walk around with a notebook and write down everything she says. These are
I
all
don't know if
Sarah's
we
words.
explained, or I mean, at this point, we're just good friends, but Nicole and I first really started getting to know each other because I've been mentoring her in her writing journey. Yeah.
Best mentor ever. Join the program with mentoring. Please, she's the best.
Thank you. Yeah. Okay, our next question is, how has your experience as a chronically ill writer benefited your writing?
That is also like a really broad question for me.
Yeah.
Having having that chronic illness really gives me a different perspective than a lot of writers out there because there are those challenges that are added on, like I was talking about earlier with having the physical energy, having the emotional energy, but having that different perspective in my writing, I think has really helped God bless it because taking those hard experiences that I have gone through, as I talked about in the first episode with Lucas's anxiety and rage attacks, and then Wendy getting chronic illness, having that different perspective brings a different kind of life to it because it's real and it's vulnerable. And it's a way to challenge my mindset because I didn't get chronically ill until I was 14, 15. And so I had experienced what would be considered a normal life before that. And since I've had chronic illness up until now, I'm 18 now, my mindset on life has been completely challenged. And so having that challenge mindset really propels my writing because it forces me to sit down
Mhm.
and process everything that I have experienced through chronic illness and this new mindset I have had to take on. And it's really benefited it because God has been involved in my writing, and it's more real because I've experienced it myself.
Yes, that's so true. I think that good writing, whether that's nonfiction or fiction, comes from deep thinking.
Yes.
And chronic illness forces you to do a lot of that deep thinking, whether you want to or not. Yeah.
Yep. And as an overthinker, having chronic illness adds on to the thinking because there are just days where I just sit and think about all the different problems in life and because of that overthinking. So yes, it takes a
Mhm.
lot of processing.
Yeah, definitely. But that benefits writing in the long
Yeah.
run, and benefit, and then other people don't have to do as much of the deep overthinking.
Yep, exactly.
So, what is one piece of advice you would give Nicole 3 years ago about illness and writing?
To be honest, this question, I've had to spend a lot of time thinking about that because there are a lot of things I would tell myself because really the idea of the story started when I was 13 years old. But I didn't actually start writing it until I was 15 and had been diagnosed with a chronic illness. So the story really developed at that time.
Which
Um,
is Is this about the 3 years ago
yes,
month? Yeah.
I started writing it in 2019, which was 4 years ago. Um, I think the two biggest pieces of advice I would have given myself at that time is to never let my characters be defined by someone else or myself. At the start of
Hmm.
this story, I had a really great idea at 13 of what exactly my characters were going to be like and how the story was going to go. And I said, if they don't fit in this box, they are not made how they are supposed to be, and they are wrong. And I have learned since then that nobody can define your story, and sometimes you can't even define your story yourself. And these characters have developed over time, and I thought that development, the differences in those characters were something to that I had to go back and fix. Like I was not writing this correctly because they were not how I envisioned them to be. But that is not something that you should let hold yourself back, but to really let God be involved in your story and to keep developing those characters because really those characters are a piece of yourself, and
Hmm.
they're going to really God's going to use them to help you learn about yourself and what he is trying to
Hmm.
teach you in life because of the development they go through. And as humans, we develop on our own as well. God works within us and he changes us sometimes with hard situations. And so just don't let your story or your characters be defined by other people either because other people don't know your story. And the second piece of advice is it's okay to be broken sometimes. I mean, Sarah and I have had to work through this a lot this past year of I went through a time of just being completely broken. Life was overwhelming. I was starting college. I was dealing with chronic illness and relationships, and I was just broken. And it was so hard to write because I just lost that passion for a little while because my heart and my mind were tired. And I
Yeah.
had to really have grace, grace, grace,
Hmm.
grace in that time to understand it's okay to be broken because really my story became stronger from that, from being broken, because I'm able to take what I experienced, what I learned, and put it into the story. So don't let your characters be defined by anyone or yourself. And it's okay to be broken sometimes because that's really
Hmm.
where God works in your writing and you the most.
Yes, that's so true. And the story not going how you thought it would go, that so mirrors health and illness and chronic illness and all of those things. And just like, it doesn't go how you think. I think life, and something we've talked a lot about over the last while, is that life and writing are so, they mirror each other and they go to
Yeah.
hand in hand in so many ways, in the brokenness you're experiencing and that your characters are experiencing, and the times when you have to step back is the times when you're getting the life experience you need, for to write good characters. And then also the project not going how you expected, again,
Yeah.
life moves, but life going not how you expected. So
Yeah, and
those
I
are the things.
definitely saw that within my own writing of just the chronic illness side of it. I wasn't expecting at 13 to get sick, to have chronic
Mhm.
illness, and that wasn't supposed to be in the story, but it has become such a beautiful part in my story that has helped me so much.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Well, wonderful and horrible at the same time.
Well,
But
that's
I'm
what
glad that
authors
you can
do.
understand the feelings.
Yeah, that's what we do, though. We make wonderful, terrible stories.
It's true. That's so true. She was Nicole this morning we were talking and she was saying like, "Oh, I don't know why I do this to them," but she was also very excited to do the things to her characters that she was going to
It's the fight, it's the struggle.
do. Yeah. Well, we are out of time, but thank you so much, Nicole. This you always have great wisdom to share. Guys, comment below if you have some more questions. We can do a part 3 with Nicole. It'll just be a joint panel eventually.
It'll become a
um,
story.
exactly. But like, subscribe, comment all the things, and check out Nicole's first interview on this channel. And we will see you in the next video, or I will.